but the taxpayers who helped invest in these new production facilities should be able to enjoy some of those profits as well and get some of that money returned.
More relief will be sent to everybody, and there are now many states and cities across the nation pushing for stimulus checks for everybody to afford groceries, gas, and rent. With Americans still in shock over jaw-dropping rising gas prices, a few proposals have floated around Congress and elsewhere about offering some relief to drivers. So this week, everybody, Los Angeles, California became the first major city in the nation to reach an average gas price of $6 or more. It has also been reported that the national average gas price in the nation is beginning to decline since its peak of $4.35 per gallon on March 10th. And the great news is that many proposals in Congress include a stimulus check, while others would tax oil companies. So everybody, many Americans, could get a $100 per month energy rebate. One proposal comes from Representative Mike Thompson of California, John Larson of Connecticut, and Lauren Underwood of Illinois.
I believe in industrial policy. That means the government works with the private sector. It does not mean that the government simply gives the private sector everything they want with no protection to the taxpayer. So if, as a result of these $53 billion in grants, these companies make money.
The congressional lawmakers proposed the Gas Rebate Act of 2022, where Americans will get an energy rebate of $100 per month and $100 for each dependent for the rest of 2022 in any month where the national average gas prices exceed $4 per gallon. In a news release, Representative Mike Thompson said, "Americans are feeling the crisis impact at the pump, and right now we must work together on common sense policy solutions to ease the financial burden that many constituents are feeling. And the crisis is putting a strain on the economy, and they're proud to introduce legislation to provide middle-class Americans with monthly payments to ease the financial burden of this global crisis." So the other part also includes $100 for joint filers making more than $150,000 and pushed out at $160,000. So Democratic Representative Peter DeFazio of Oregon has proposed a Stop Gas Price Gouging Tax and Rebate Act. The bill would create a windfall profit tax on excessive corporate profits and return the revenue to American consumers in the form of a tax rebate. Under his proposals, companies will pay a one-time 50% windfall profit tax on any adjusted taxable income in 2022 that exceeds 110% of their average during pre-crisis levels. Revenue raised by the windfall profit tax will be returned to consumers as a monthly advance and refundable tax credit that will be phased out by income. And according to DeFazio, eligibility is identical to criteria used for stimulus payments that were included in the American Rescue Plan. Also in California, Democratic state lawmakers announced a $400 gas rebate proposal for every taxpayer. The proposal would use $9 billion in a state budget surplus to provide the rebate, which is expected to cover the 51.1% gallon gas tax for one full year of weekly fill-ups for a car with a 15-gallon gas tank. According to multiple sources, Governor Ned Lamont of Connecticut has also called for a holiday from the state's 25-cent per gallon gas tax, starting as soon as possible. In addition, Governor Janet Mills of Maine has proposed increasing the state's relief checks for residents to $850 in the face of record high inflation and rising oil and gas prices. Mills told reporters this week, inflation and increased oil and gas prices resulting from the crisis are hitting people in Maine very hard. The proposal will help Maine people grapple with these increased costs by putting money directly into their pockets. The governor has also provided Maine residents with an extra form of relief payments. Over 500,000 people in Maine received a stimulus check from the state government late last year. Governor Mills said the direct payments to everybody helped Maine families to some small degree during the holiday season as they work to fully recover the economy. So folks, I think it's really good news, everybody, that President Biden and some Democrats and Republicans are doing what they say and helping out the people. Now, Chuck Schumer has proposed a few changes to President Biden's spending bill. These changes will greatly affect many families and Social Security beneficiaries. Here is the latest and most up-to-date stimulus check, Social Security, and SSDI information that you have to know. So you want to be sure to stay to the end of the video, folks. So we will see a lot of action be taken by congressional Democrats this week. Lawmakers are going to be very busy with a packed to-do list, which includes potential election reform, government funding, and getting important parts of President Biden's economic agenda signed into law. So the slow movement on getting any bills passed in Congress has definitely prompted some angst among Democrats, specifically the frontliners running for re-election. With Biden's approval ratings drastically decreasing, Democratic lawmakers are scrambling to demonstrate success by delivering on past promises to the American people, like curbing prescription costs. But there remains a big obstacle in the way, and that is Joe Manchin. I know many of you were disappointed when Manchin came out in opposition to the package, but some Democrats are urging the Senate to pass a chunk of the bill before others. A group of lawmakers want to advance the $555 billion portion of the package focused on combating the climate crisis. But this section is different than others because it is a section of the bill that Manchin previously said he could support. A representative of New Jersey said that climate change simply should not be a partisan issue and it is just something that we must do. Now, Joe Biden has already said he believed the Democratic Party could agree to the climate section of the plan, largely made up of tax credits designed to ease the transition to cleaner energy sources. The good news is that Manchin appears interested in working with Senator Susan Collins of Maine and a group of over a dozen senators on a bipartisan election reform deal. Joe Manchin told Insider, "We can work on everything, but election reform is a thing. We want to make sure we get done quickly." Manchin added that future negotiations on the centerpiece of Biden's agenda will be starting from scratch.
To them. And the Second Amendment is really a very, very simple one. It asks, why in God's name would we be giving $10 billion to a company owned by the second wealthiest person in this country, Jeff Bezos? Now, if Mr. Bezos wants to go to the moon, if he wants to go to Mars, he wants to go to Saturn, that's his business. He has every right in the world to do that. But he does not have a right to ask the taxpayers of this country for $10 billion to help him make his trip to outer space. So this Second Amendment simply eliminates that $10 billion grant that goes to Mr. Bezos. So, Mr. President, with that, I look forward to winning the support for these two important amendments, which I think are strongly supported by the American people. And with that, I would yield the floor.
It's really an honor to represent the 7th Congressional District. Thank you for letting me do that for you. I'm proud to be your voice in Congress. And you are my second in-person town hall since COVID. So it is so great to be back. Our first one was last night on Vashon Island. You know, I tell people I represent 6 cities in the country of Vashon. So we went over to Vashon yesterday and we had an amazing day. We got to see some salmon conservation projects. We got to visit with the Latino organization there. We got to go to one of the last remaining Japanese-American homesteads that's out on Vashon, the Mukai Gardens, which was amazing, and then we did a town hall out there. And today we are here with you, and so I just want to say thank you so much for